Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you are having a great day. I have 3 stories for you today. The first one is about a very complicated situation. OP apparently has a hard choice she needs to make. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Quick background. I grew up on a family-run dairy farm. My mother was very young when she had me and died during childbirth, and I have no idea or desire to know who my birth father is. My grandparents raised me instead. Growing up on a farm is difficult, especially a family farm. My grandparents were very lucky to focus on no GMO, ethical and organic dairy very early, and when it picked up, so did their business. They're by no means a large corporate dairy now, but they have expanded since I was little. They have been very good and kind to me. They never raised their voices to me or guilted me. I want to be a parent like them someday. I went off to college and met my fiancé Frank there. We've been dating since and are now engaged. Frank has a golden child younger sister, Lily. Frank's parents love him very much, but it can be obvious sometimes that they favor their little girl. An example being him asking for any of the 3 family heirloom rings to use as an engagement one, only to be told they are all meant for Lily. Now, my grandparents are very much alive and have decided to pay for my entire wedding as their gift. My wedding isn't very expensive, but it was still very appreciated. On Sundays, my fiancé and I go to their home and have brunch with them. Lily, within the last 2 years, has made the decision to become a vegan, which I absolutely have no problem with. I think everyone is allowed to have their own lifestyle choices, so long as they don't force it on someone else or hurt someone else. Simple, right? Well, Frank's parents decided to attend last Sunday's brunch to talk about wedding stuff and excitement. Lily asked to join. Even though Lily is treated a little better than Frank, I have no problem with her. I think she is really bright and has potential. We don't connect much just because her focus now is partying, work, and dating. We have hung out alone, and there has been no problem, so Lily came with. We're sitting down at brunch, about halfway through our meal. Note that my grandparents last minute made vegan dishes just for Lily. And Lily asks how my grandparents feel about the fact that they violate cows. They felt immediately uncomfortable and asked for clarification. Lily started going off about how cows are AR'd to produce milk and have their babies taken from them. How artificial insemination is no better than D a girl at a nightclub. They themselves are gross for the glass of milk they had with their meal. My fiancé asked her to stop, but she didn't. She got so heated, she left and sat in the car. My grandmother was crying from the unexpected confrontation. Soon-to-be mother-in-law and father-in-law apologized profusely and left. Fiancé and I hung out afterwards with my grandparents. Yesterday, my grandma called me and said they'll still pay for the wedding, but won't attend the reception because they don't want to run into Lily again. I absolutely understand their position. Lily is one of my bridesmaids, as I have a close friend on Frank's lineup, so we kinda traded out. I don't even want Lily to attend our wedding now. My grandparents are throwing money for the dress she'll be wearing, makeover, hair, food, so on. And honestly, I don't like that she insulted my grandparents who tried to accommodate her. Frank informed her family that because of her outburst, she needs to either remedy the situation, promise to have no interaction with my grandparents, or is not coming to the wedding period. Soon-to-be mother-in-law and father-in-law think my grandparents are making a bigger deal out of this than they should be because they apologized for her. Lily is livid and told my fiancé that he's being manipulated by a bunch of milk-drinking violate. She also posted a "woe is me, I was uninvited to my brother's wedding because I stood up for my beliefs." A lot of people are supportive and being rude to Frank regarding this. Help. How do we handle this? Were our options to give her reasonable? This would be the best response. In respect to Lily's beliefs, we have chosen not to invite her to our wedding, which will be fully funded with money from an obviously non-vegan business. As much as we would love to have Lily attend, we couldn't possibly ask her to indirectly support CalR by eating, drinking, and dancing at an event bought with such soiled money. And on a serious note, I feel sorry for OP's grandparents. If it was me, Lily would be 100% out of the wedding completely. She doesn't deserve to be there. I honestly do not know where to start. How the hell could he do this to me? Me and my husband have been married 3 years and together 7. We got married when I was 21. We've had such a beautiful relationship. We've been on lovely holidays in New York, Maldives, Amsterdam, and our favorite of all places, Rome. As with any relationship, we have had our ups and downs, silly arguments, insecurities, and financial instability. But never anything like this before. I have never ever thought he would do anything or even look at another girl. But it seems that I'm incorrect. When he proposed to me when I was 20, we were in New York. He knew exactly how I wanted to get engaged. A huge cliche of being on top of the Empire State Building. He actually paid a significant amount to ensure it was minimal people and late at night so the candles and rose petals would stand out. He gave me my dream proposal and I was over the moon, as you can imagine. The crying where you just can't even get any words out. That was me. It was insane, and we have had nothing but an amazing marriage since. Or so I thought. Before we got married, he was very strict on how we should both do our hen stag parties. We never agreed no dancers or STR clubs or surprise guests. So for my hendo, I went on a lovely holiday to Santorini with my bridal party. We had endless amounts of alcohol, spa days, beach days, occasional skinny dip. Me and my girls were in the best shape of our lives and extremely drunk, so we were behaving somewhat irresponsibly. But the hotel we were at had a private beach and swim-up pools, so all in all, me and the girls were very well behaved and a quiet holiday resort. He went to Vegas with his boys for a week while I was in Santorini. This immediately alarmed me because it's STR Dancers Central, but I trust him, and he confirmed that he was just going to go to the casinos and bars and get absolutely hammered every night. His first night there, he rang me. He was so sloppy and such a softie, telling me how much he loved me and how excited he was to be my husband for the rest of his life. It was about 11 p.m. there, and when he ended the call, he said, "Good night, my one and only, Mrs. his last name." He called me every day for the next 4 days, until I was so happy for him he was having the time of his life. He was telling me how he had gambled a lot of money and won a lot, and was telling me he was going to give me everything I've ever wanted. He was telling me how he met Kevin Hart after his friend surprised him with a comedy show by him. I was so happy. For the last 2 days of his trip, he didn't call. I thought that is absolutely fine. His brain is fried, and he's probably so scared about flying home and getting married, etc. So I overlooked this. We texted a couple of times, and that was all. Anyway, I was flying home, and he was already home. I came into the biggest bunch of flowers, chocolates, and a bottle of champagne, which I did not drink. I had way too much. And he had the biggest smile on his face, and he generally looked so happy to see me that he started tearing up a little. Now I can see that this was obviously guilt. 3 weeks had gone by since we both came home. We were so in love. We had not stopped talking about the wedding and how excited we were. He was probably more excited than I was. He hadn't acted strange at all. The day before the wedding, his best man showed me a video of them outside a casino, which just happened to be next to a STR club. His best man had a pair of thongs in his hand and had evidently gone into the S Club, but I was reassured that my husband-to-be had never gone out of line. Fair enough. No need to overreact. If he had something to tell me, he would have. So we got married. No arguments, no discussions. Very muggy of me. I have never trusted anyone more. So now we get to here. 3 years after we got married and just 3 days ago, a strange woman messaged his Facebook page. The message said, "Hi, I've been looking for you for years. Remember me?" I questioned him about it. He just said it was a distant family member. So I believed him, until I got a little bit of a sketchy vibe of him and checked his phone this morning. He had talked to her for the whole 3 days after the message. She was commenting on how they had such an amazing night with her friend, and that her friend was impressed with how well he worked with the both of them. She asked him if he'd missed their threesome and if they could do it again soon. He responded, "You were the best I've ever had. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But you made me finish so quick, it's a good job your friend was there to help you out." I'm completely heartbroken. I had to skip the rest of the messages until I saw one that said, "I didn't get rid of the baby." At this point, he's just gotten out of the shower, and I've thrown the phone square at his face. Screaming and crying, I ask him about it all. He is evidently apologetic. He explained the whole night to me and everything that's happened since. He suggested that his friends organized a private show with 2 dancers that he had no idea at all about, and that he engaged in a threesome with 2 girls. He explained the thong photo his best friend had shown me belonged to the girl he had ducked, not once, but 3 times while they were in Vegas. She had reached out to him just before the wedding and told him that she was pregnant, but was going to get rid of the baby, so there was nothing to worry about. Not only was this ever so clear that he had cheated on me weeks before my wedding, he got her pregnant. He also got ducking married to her in one of those stupid Vegas weddings. He is still married to her and to me. I am pretty sure this is illegal. I have no ducking idea on what to do. My heart is ducking broken. I'm pregnant now with his child. I am 5 months pregnant today, and I'm discovering that he has another wife, another child, and has essentially cheated on me twice, but at the same time. I've kicked him out, but I cannot help to think that my whole marriage has been a lie. The last 5 years have been a lie. I only found this out an hour ago, and he's banging on the door, begging for me back, insisting he has never done anything since this, and that he can't remember marrying her. He said that he was so drunk that he just can't remember anything what's happened apart what he's told me already. I've reached out to the girl, and I'm waiting for a response. I don't know what to do. This is so out of character for him. Do I just accept it and move on? I'm pregnant, and I can't raise a child on my own. We have a mortgage, and now almost a family. I can't believe he has done this to me, and I can't deal with this heartbreak. I need some advice and some help. I have no one to turn to. Please, someone. OP should contact a lawyer. If he got married to the dancer, OP can probably get her marriage annulled without having to go through a lengthy divorce. Spouse not having the legal capacity to marry include a pre-existing marriage and is grounds for annulment. And of course, she needs to dump her cheating husband. What a piece of crap. I don't understand this whole bachelor party with dancers nonsense. Last night as a single man nonsense. He wasn't single. My advice for OP would be that if she finds it hard to do, she needs to remember that he has a kid with a S dancer. He's going to owe child support and alimony. Update. In my last post, you may have read that I was waiting for a response, and as of yesterday evening, I received a response. She told me everything and said she just wanted to reach out to see if he wanted anything to do with their child. The events of the night followed. 1. One of the dancers was a last-minute booking. 2. She and her friend had been dancing for the men and giving them lap dances. He told me it was an arranged private show. 3. After a couple of hours being with my husband, he started getting very touchy, and apparently at this stage, all of the men were just as 4. The friends all nipped out to get some more alcohol, and in this time, my husband started apparently talking dirty and telling her how bad he wanted them both. 5. They all got carried away, and one thing led to another. 6. Here's the interesting bit. She mentioned his friends didn't come back and were still out in the morning. So clearly, this was not the work of his friends. 7. She remembers how and where they got married, but cannot be sure whether it was legal. The only reason she pursued is because my husband told her that he was going to leave me for her. And apparently, the chemistry was great. 8. They left Vegas. 9. She found out she was pregnant and reached out to him, where he told her he wasn't leaving me and thought it was the best idea that she was to get rid of the baby so that I wouldn't find out. 10. Clearly, she didn't do that. I have requested a paternity test, to which she has not responded yet. 11. 3 years later, and here we are. He has a child, and they have been talking on and off for 6 months in relation to this child and their Vegas romance. These were events I found out yesterday evening. Now to my personal update. After being married for a long while, my solicitor has told me that my marriage wasn't legal, as he was confirmed married in Vegas and should have the legal documentation as proof. Just in case he didn't, he has provided them for me. So not only was my husband a complete liar, but so was my marriage. Solicitor has advised me that there are 2 ways to proceed. I could ask the dancer to divorce him and remarry, or I could take legal grounds for his bigamy. I have decided to take legal ground. My solicitor is confident that this is going to be the best way forward for my well-being, and also my unborn child's well-being. I have to provide all of our documentation and also provide a strong statement of events, which will follow in the upcoming weeks. My solicitor is going through both parties, my husband and I, so I can avoid direct contact. Once I have sued my husband on the grounds of his bigamy, I am moving back home to London with my sister. I am also keeping my child, as I do not believe it is right to exclude my daughter from having a life outside of my womb, and I will deal with problems when I get to them. I haven't spoken to my husband since the events. All I have told him is that I am considering getting rid of the baby, and that's it. I have now been advised to avoid any contact, as he may use this against me in court. I am following my solicitor's advice to a T. I am also taking up therapy to find out the best way of coping and how I will not show weakness but have grown from this event. Even some of the nasty words, as this reminds me that, all in all, my life is not that bad. Because from this experience, I will endlessly try to help people who are in these unbelievable movie lives so that they know that this happens, and those who comment don't understand that this is the real world. Thank you all.